Saludos a toda la afición de Lucha Libre Online. Este que les habla es Michael Morales Torres, integrante del equipo de LLO. Y tenemos el enorme privilegio de presentarles a nuestra invitada especial en la tarde de hoy, directamente desde Ocala, Florida, para el mundo, representando en su momento dado. Estuvo en WWE, estuvo en Impact Wrestling, estuvo en Wrestling Superstar en Chile y ahora mismo también la vimos por ahí, por AEW. Santana Garrett, una de las mejores luchadoras en el mundo, regresa aquí a Lucha Libre Online. Santana, it is an absolute honor to have you back here on Lucha Libre Online. How are you doing today?
Yes. Thank you. What a warm welcome. Oh, that was happiness. Life is good. I cannot complain. Excited to be back doing interviews and wrestling. Oh my goodness, I've missed it so much.
We all miss you in the square circle. We didn't saw you for a while, but let's talk about what you've done recently. Let's go from what happened recently until, you know, what happened before that. So we saw you recently at a place called All Elite Wrestling. It was at a tapings. We saw some pictures of the Universal Studios. How do you felt, you know, receiving that warm welcome from the fans, was again having the opportunity to perform in another company, in another complete different environment? How do you felt working for AEW?
It felt great. Everybody from the locker room, the girls, the guys, the producers, everybody was so welcoming and just respectful. And it was, I don't know. I mean, I haven't wrestled since January 30th when I did the all women's match for WWE. And so it's been a very long time since I've wrestled and even been in that type of setting. So it felt amazing to be back.
We're so happy to have you back. And that's exactly what I want to touch next, WWE. Your lifelong dream for a while, you had the opportunity to conquer it after so much hard work. Once you were granted the opportunity to be a part of the team and that you signed the contract, not the wrestler, the human Santana, how do you felt knowing that you finally achieved your goal?
Man, I mean, I felt on top of the world. It was literally a dream come true for me. So it was a pretty surreal feeling. And I have to say, I enjoyed my time there. Kind of got lost in the shuffle, unfortunately, with the pandemic happening, getting moved up to main roster and, you know, nobody really knowing that I was there, not there. But I am very grateful for all the opportunities and also excited for what's to come.
Of course. Let's talk about exactly that. You mentioned main roster. You were on the NXT roster for a while. Then on the internet, there were multiple reports that you were called to the main roster. When did that exactly happen? Who notified you? Hey, Santana girl, we need you up here.
Yeah. So I had a match against Liv Morgan. I think it was Liv Morgan, and then one against Bianca at the beginning of the pandemic, maybe right before it happened. And that is when there was interest, like, hey, we want this girl. I actually got moved up beginning of summer of last year, was brought to TV about 4 or 5 different times with different ideas, you know, coming in as this bad girl group with Vanessa Bourne and Chelsea Green and myself, coming in as a tag team with Chelsea, coming in as a singles wrestler, doing the whole superhero Wonder Woman character that I've done these past 12 years. And it just never happened, unfortunately. We were written into to the shows a couple times, and then it's like, you know, things change all the time, and that's wrestling and that's life. So it just unfortunately didn't happen. So then I had my my match in January with a bunch of just talented women, and I figured, you know what, this is my time to shine. Head to toe, had my hair done, had somebody else make my gear because I typically make my own gear, and I'm like, I'm feeling good, and I did a great job. I got great feedback from the producers, and it's like, okay, we'll see you soon. Great, feeling on cloud 9, you know. And then just weeks went by and you continue to, you know, hey, just following up, just want to check, da 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 da. And it's like, okay, yeah, after Mania, more and more people are getting released. I'm like, you know, just hanging out at the house, reorganizing my pantry for the 100th time, waiting for my time to debut. And it just never happened. And then I got the call, we're doing budget cuts. And that was it. That was about just over 90 days ago, because I just ended my 90-day non-compete, which allows me freedom to do whatever I want. And so a few days after my non-compete ended, I went to AEW.
Santana, before you arrived to the company, you had the opportunity to be named as one of the best wrestlers in the world. You were top 4 according to PWI. You reached a status so high in your career and your value was extremely high. Did you knew that while you were going to sign with WWE, that you had to adjust to a different role, that you were not at the moment, you were not going to be that top girl again until you earn your place again? Were you willing to work hard in order to, you know, get that spot earned, as they call it?
Absolutely. I don't expect anything. I've worked hard my entire life for everything that I have. Nothing has come easy. I put in the work, and every time I go to a company, I start from the bottom and I work my way up. You look at Shine Wrestling. I've been around since the very beginning. Before there was a Shine pre-show for an FIP event. And it's like, I started at the bottom and I worked my way up to being Shine champion, to being Shine tag team champion. Every other company, I've done the same exact thing. So I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm doing it right now on the independent scene, but this has been my dream, you know? So I'm going to take that chance. I'll start at the bottom and you know, hoping they will see my efforts, and they did. Don't get me wrong, they did. But yeah, same thing with AEW. I just did a dark match, you know, and I'm not above that or anything or anyone. So go in there, show them what I'm capable of, show them why they need to sign me, and then go from there.
The world is your oyster, and you've been in the world before. You've wrestled everywhere. And one of the places you wrestled was actually for our boss, for Hugo Savinovich in Chile.
I love Hugo.
How was that experience? Because you didn't only wrestle in Chile, you were the women's champion in Chile as well for a while. So how was your experience there?
That's right. My experience there was amazing. I've been there a few times at this point. One time, I got lost with one of the other girls. So that was a little bit scary. But aside from that, like, amazing. Like, Hugo is one of my favorite people that I've met in wrestling. He's just so kind, and I just love him. And he's given me so many opportunities, and I get to call myself a world champion, you know, and that's pretty freaking amazing. I've enjoyed all of my trips there. And I think one time I fly all the way from Orlando to Santiago, Chile, and it was in and out. I literally got there. They picked me up from the airport, went straight to the building, wrestled, showered at the building, back to the airport, and home. So that one was it, but that was on me. That wasn't them. I prefer, when I'm traveling to these amazing places outside of the country, I want to experience them. And I definitely have gotten to do that a couple times in Chile and all these other places I've been. Shopping, you know, local and everything. It was an amazing time, amazing people.
Santana, you talked about Japan previously. What was the biggest challenge you faced in Japan? Not only in terms of pro wrestling, but the culture itself, finding food, the language, everything is different. So what was your main challenge there?
Okay. The main challenge was when I did my first match in Japan, and I'm, you know, like we talked about, I'm like hot independent wrestler, and you know, I know what gets a reaction from the crowd, and so I'm doing this stuff and nothing's getting a reaction. The crowd's just like this.
Oh wow.
Crickets. And I'm like, okay, let me try something else. Tried something else. And then it's not until like the end where, you know, it's the false finishes. And then they're like, then they say, oh, Santana or EO. And then they yell out the name. But it's just a totally different crowd where you have Americans who are loud and obnoxious, like myself, and just going wild and crazy the whole time. But the Japanese fans are just very respectful. They're watching intently. And until like it's about to be over, they're not really chiming in. And that was so weird for me. That was so weird. So that was definitely a surprise, to say the least. And then shopping and eating. I mean, I had the Translate app and whatnot, but half of the stuff wouldn't translate. You know, I stuck for the most part to what I knew. But I also was eating a lot of like tofu and everything in Japan, like probably every day eating tofu, but come to find out I'm allergic to soy, and that's soy. And everybody that goes to Japan, all the girls that go to Japan, they lose weight and they get in the best shape of their life. I gained 10 pounds, and that's probably why. Yeah. So I don't think I've ever told that story, actually. So you heard it here first, folks.
So Santana Garrett gained 10 pounds in Japan due to her being allergic to soy.
Yeah, it's all that tofu.
It's really bizarre. Santana, you also visited India, a place where pro wrestling is getting bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. It's just growing. The fans there are wild as well. How was your experience in India?
Don't drink the water, people. Oh my gosh, I got so sick. One of the times I got so sick, and I didn't drink the water, but maybe I don't even know what happened. But oh, scary. The experience was great. Great Khali. I mean, what a legend, you know? We had press conferences and they just treated us like royalty. We had a parade. We were the parade on a float, waving and all the city just out for us. It was incredible.
What about Puerto Rico, Santana? You had the opportunity to visit our island, the beaches, the food, the culture as well is different. I believe you came here with WWL a few years earlier. You were also scheduled to be here with Misterio Mania, but due to the hurricane, it got moved. Then you were signed with WWE. So how was your experience wrestling in Puerto Rico?
It was great. We got there early. We got to go to the beautiful beaches. Food, obviously amazing. And I remember being at the event and having to, there was no, the hurricanes were happening at that time as well, or something to where we had to flush the toilet with a big bucket of water at the venue. Oh. I don't know. Yeah. So I think there was a storm that just hit. There was no power in certain parts of the building. So that's one of my memories from that trip. But beaches, beautiful, food, on point.
Puerto Rico and the hurricanes. We have a serious problem with that. So
yeah, get it together, Puerto Rico. But I'm ready for another trip there.
So let's hope to have you here when Hugo does his next event here. Santana, you wrestle Impact Wrestling as well in a moment of your career. Are you willing to do that again? Like, the world is your oyster. You can do anything you want at this point. You can go to NWA, you can go to AEW, you can go to AAA in Mexico, Impact. Like, is there any specific company you wish to wrestle in? I mean, you wrestle already in AEW, but is there anything specific you wish to do?
Yeah, it's funny because, and when it airs, you'll see, and some people won't understand it, but I did a interview promo, and the first thing I say, I said, well, this place looks a little familiar, because we were literally in the Impact Zone from 10 years ago at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. But I'm keeping my options open. I'm talking to a few different companies, and I'm not opposed to going somewhere I've already been. I feel like you know, I've kept relationships up over the years with a lot of these promoters that I've worked for. I've never left a company with ill will, respect from both sides. And yeah, right now I'm just kind of keeping my options open. I have a few things coming up. Some, actually I have something this weekend. I can't tell you what, you will see. But yeah, stay tuned, people.
Santana, in your time with WWE, do you had the opportunity to be in a meeting either with Vince McMahon or Triple H? If yes, how was your experience, you know, talking with them, proposing idea, and basically everything?
Most of the idea pitches were done with the writers, the WWE writers. Triple H was always super down to earth. And if you needed to chat, you know, you would just, hey, do you got a minute? And he'd tell you yes or no. But it was always yes. Like he always, like he's such a down to earth person. With Vince, nothing one-on-one. But I mean, he's the one that saw me wrestle and said, I want that girl. So never an opportunity for a one-on-one conversation though.
I hear often Chelsea Green's podcast, Green with Envy. She names you pretty often over there. Naming Chelsea Green, there are a lot of talented wrestlers out there. Deonna Purrazzo, for example, Britt Baker. There are a lot of girls outside that are doing outstanding work. Is there any particular name that you wish to face either now or in the near future?
So, and I've wrestled her before, Deonna Purrazzo. I mean, she is killing it right now. And, you know, a few of the other girls are too. And she's definitely one that left WWE, NXT, and just soared. I mean, she has done such a phenomenal job. Prior to WWE, she did a great job making a name for herself. And yeah, I'm super, super proud of her. And she is crazy talented and definitely one I'd like to face in the near future, hopefully.
Santana, the women had to go through so many things to be where they are today. The bra, panties, and gimmick wear matches prior to all the success that y'all are having right now. We saw Empower, Impact as well is going to have a full women's pay-per-view. How do you feel knowing that women's wrestling finally achieved the level it should have achieved years ago?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely took a long time and a lot of effort to get where we are. But it just goes to show you that if you're willing to put in the work, it will pay off. So stick with it, you know, whether it be your goal or what you stand for, just stick with it, keep going, keep moving forward, and things will happen in your favor. So another thing, talking about like the bra and panty matches. So when I wrestled for a major company years ago, I won't name names, but people will figure it out. They wanted us to do a bra and panties match. Well, my rule has always been, if I'm not comfortable watching this, rewatching what I'm doing with my dad and my little brothers, then I'm not going to do it. You know, I have standards and self-respect, and that's always been my rule for myself. And so they're like, oh no, you guys have to do the bra and panties match, da 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 da. And so I was like, okay, well, my bra and panties were bigger than my wrestling gear. Let's just say that. I definitely didn't give the people what they want.
So you earned your victory your way. That's really good.
Yeah, I felt good about it.
Santana, there's always there's always room to improve. Can we see Riley? What you did to her? She's not happy.
Oh yes, of course.
She looks really.
She says, "I'm here for the snacks."
She looks really cute, but she's not happy. She's a little
upset with me. She's not happy because I gave her a haircut. And she's not happy about it. She. It's all right though. And my other dogs, I had the door closed, but I've got 2 golden doodles, and one is just like a ninja dog. He opens doors. It's incredible, and they snuck their way in here. and I gave them haircuts too. It's not good. Like I've done a good job in the past, but this time, man, I'm a bit rusty.
At least she's there and she's wearing her sweater and being part of the interview. She's being a good sport.
Yeah, that's why she's wearing her sweater.
Santana, what are your thoughts on AEW's women's division? There's Tainara Conti, Britt Baker. There are a lot of girls talented, like Diamante, for example, there as well. Jade Cargill. What are your thoughts on their women's division?
Impressive. Their women's division is so impressive, and a lot of the girls were there when I was there this past Saturday, and man, Jade, smoking hot. Like you think she's photoshopped, but oh my gosh, she is just this big, beautiful, muscular, toned woman. It's unreal, really. She's impressive.
Yeah, she actually is impressive in every single sense. If you allow me, I'll say something in Spanish before we go to our last question. Santana Garrett está disponible en todas las redes sociales como @SantanaGarrett en Instagram. Santana Garrett también está disponible en Twitter, entre muchísimas otras. Pueden seguir así mismo como @SantanaGarrett. Pero para mercancía, t-shirts y mercancía está disponible en prowrestlingtees.com/Santana Garrett, prowrestlingtees.com/Santana Garrett para t-shirts, y llegan a todas partes del mundo. Si usted está en México, usted está en Chile, usted está en Puerto Rico, Estados Unidos, Canadá, adquiera las suyas desde ahora. Las camisas están excelentes. prowrestlingtees.com/Santana Garrett. Y para todos los promotores del mundo, en Chile, en Argentina, Hugo, si me estás escuchando, tráela a Puerto Rico. Santana Garrett está disponible para bookings en Santana Garrett bookings@gmail.com, Santana Garrett bookings@gmail.com, solo para promotores y ofertas serias. Panamá, Costa Rica, ella está dispuesta a luchar en todos lados, experiencia en Japón, en India, en todos lados. Así que tráiganla para acá, para Puerto Rico, Hugo, que esta muchacha es lo que definitivamente necesita nuestra división. Before we go to our last question, I wanted to thank you so much for your time. I wanted to say it's an absolute honor to have you here as our guest, Santana.
Oh, well, yeah, actually, fun fact. This is a review since my 90-day non-compete ended. So thank you guys for having me.
Santana, last but not least, what makes you happy? What makes you passionate about life? What drives your heart? What drives your motor in every single day? Like, what makes Santana Garrett happy?
Seeing other people happy. And just like so many of my friends, like seeing them succeed, like that truly, like, so rewarding, especially if I've had anything to do with it. Like a lot of people don't know, but I help prepare people for their WWE tryouts. I help train people. And I don't post everything that's going on in my life ever. But even, you know, my family obviously makes me happy. I love them to pieces. The support that I've gotten over these last 12 years from all of my fans, followers, friends, and family is just absolutely incredible. And yeah.
That's so sweet. Santana, any last words for the Latin American fans out there that are listening to you right now?
Just thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate it. And thank you for easing me back into the interview world, because I mean, I don't think I've done one in probably 4 years.
Oh,
so
wow.
Thank you for making this so easy.
Thank you for being here. It's an absolute honor to have you back. You were here, I believe, in 2015 and 2016, a few years back, when you were, you know, in personal events. So this is like your third time here. Highly probable you will remember. But yeah, it's your third time here. It's been an absolute honor, Santana, to have you here as our guest. Wishing you success in your career, in your personal life, in everything you propose. And let's wrap this up in Spanish. Esta fue Santana Garrett y Michael Morales Torres para Lucha Libre Online, la marca número 1 de Pro Wrestling y Combat Sports en español.